The auditorium fell silent as Cadet Commander Zelthor's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among the Verkesh. His crystalline eyes swept across the rows of fresh recruits seated in the Galactic Defense Academy's orientation hall, representing 47 species from across the Confederate worlds. Let me make this abundantly clear. The commander's translator rendered his chittering speech into crisp standard. You are here because your worlds have deemed you exceptional, but survival rates for first-year cadets hover around 63%. This is not your home. This is not safe. And some of you, he paused dramatically, come from worlds so soft, so protected that you'll wash out within the first week. Gideon shifted in his seat beside Torail, his jaw tight. The human contingent, all 5 of them scattered through the crowd, had learned to keep quiet during these speeches. Nothing good came from drawing attention. Now then, Zelthor pulled up a holographic display. Let's review your homeworld classifications. Those from Class 1 Paradise Worlds stand. About a third of the cadets rose, beings from worlds with perfect atmospheres, no predators, and governments that provided every need. Class 2 Standard Worlds. Another third stood. Temperate climates, manageable challenges, the galactic average. Class 3. Harsh Worlds. A smaller group rose. Species adapted to desert planets. Ice worlds, high-gravity environments. Zelthor's mandibles spread in satisfaction. And finally, just to confirm our records are complete, Class 4 Deathworlds. Silence. The commander's translator carried his amusement. No, excellent. As expected, the Confederation stopped recruiting from Deathworlds after the incident with... A single hand rose in the back section. The auditorium erupted in whispers. Heads turned. Zelthor's bioluminescent plates flickered with surprise. Torail kept her hand raised, her face calm despite every instinct screaming at her to lower it. Beside her, Gideon had gone rigid, his knuckles white against the armrest. State your name and homeworld, Zelthor commanded, his voice sharp. Cadet Torail Chen, sir. Earth. Sol system. The whispers became a roar. Earth. The word rippled through the crowd like a shockwave. Even the most isolated species had heard stories. The planet where everything was trying to kill you, where the inhabitants had evolved to be nearly unkillable themselves. That's impossible. A Quellan Cadet 3 rows up hissed. They banned human recruitment after the incident. Zelthor raised a manipulator for silence. The ban was lifted 2 cycles ago pending certain conditions. His eyes fixed on Torai. Tell me, Cadet Chen, how does one survive to adulthood on a Class 4 Deathworld? Torail stood military straight. Still alive, sir. A few nervous laughs scattered through the crowd, but Zelthor wasn't amused. I'm aware you're alive, Cadet. I'm asking how. Your planet has weather systems that can level cities, tectonic activity that swallows entire regions, microscopic organisms that can kill in hours, megafauna that... Permission to speak freely, sir? Zelthor's plates flickered irritation, but he gestured assent. You're right, sir. Earth is dangerous. We have storms that throw cars through buildings, earthquakes that reshape coastlines, viruses that killed millions before we learned to fight them, animals that can tear through Kevlar. Torail's voice carried clearly through the silent hall. But here's what you don't understand. We didn't just survive these things. We thrived because of them. Elaborate. Every human in this room has an immune system that's fought thousands of battles before their 10th birthday. We've got adrenaline that can let us lift objects 3 times our body weight. A pain tolerance that lets us function with injuries that would incapacitate most species. And a stubborn refusal to quit that's been bred into us over hundreds of thousands of years. Gideon finally spoke up from his seat. She's being modest, sir. Earth doesn't just have one hostile environment, it has all of them. Deserts that hit 60 degrees, tundra at -40, jungles so dense you can't see 3 meters, oceans that cover 70% of the planet and could swallow our largest ships. Zelthor's translator crackled. And this makes you qualified for the Academy how exactly? Torail met his compound eyes steadily. Because adapting is what we do, sir. Give us any environment, any challenge, and we'll figure out how to beat it. That's not arrogance, it's just our baseline. When your ancestors were building their first shelters on Paradise Worlds, ours were hunting megafauna with pointed sticks. When you developed space travel in stable systems, we did it while dodging solar radiation and magnetic storms that should have made it impossible. The commander was silent for a long moment, Around them, cadets from softer worlds looked at the humans with newfound wariness and perhaps a touch of respect. The incident, someone called from the crowd. What about the incident? Gideon's jaw clenched, but Torai answered calmly. 3 years ago, a training exercise went wrong. Human cadets were supposed to surrender when the simulation became unsurvivable. They didn't. They kept fighting, kept adapting even when the instructors told them they'd died according to the parameters. Humans don't have the same quit reflex that other species do. It got messy. They rewrote the victory conditions mid-combat, Gideon added quietly, then broke out of the simulation boundaries to survive. Command thought it was insubordination. They just thought it was Tuesday. Zelthor's plates had shifted to a deep blue, contemplation in Verkesh body language. And you think this makes you assets rather than liabilities? No, sir, Torai said. I think it makes us exactly what we've always been. Survivors who refuse to quit. You want soldiers who'll face impossible odds? We're from a planet that's been throwing impossible odds at us since before we discovered fire. Still alive, sir. Still fighting. Still here. The commander studied her for a long moment, then his mandibles clicked again. But this time there was something different in the sound. Respect, perhaps. Or calculation. Noted, Cadet Chen, be seated. He turned to address the full assembly. Let this be your first lesson. In the Galactic Defense Force, your origins matter less than your actions. But never, ever underestimate what survival can teach. His eyes swept back to the human contingent. And never underestimate those who learn to survive in hell itself. As Torai sat, Gideon leaned over and whispered, That was either really brave or really stupid. She smiled slightly. Probably both. But we're human. What else would it be? Around them, the other cadets gave the human section a wider berth. Taurail didn't mind. Respect she'd learned long ago often looked a lot like wariness, and on Earth they'd learned to earn both.